You know, they look a little similar.
Yeah, like the guy who designed Bender just took a drawing of Dad and stuck an antenna on it.
Welcome back, ScreenRanters. Today we're taking a walk into the animated world of the 21st century Earth. For 16 years, Matt Groening's Futurama entertained us on our TV screens. Today we're going to look at some of the best and worst jokes in the series, moments that made us giggle, and moments that made us squirm, especially when compared to the royalty of adult cartoons, The Simpsons. Expect science jokes explained and a trip down memory tally lane, so grab your bending robot and let's get started. Kicking off our list is the birth of a legendary meme. We've all seen it in various forms throughout social media. The classic image of Fry yelling, "Shut up and take my money!" Well, it came to be during the episode Attack of the Killer App. During the infamous scene, Fry goes to buy the new iPhone, spelt with E-Y-E. Clever, right? The episode pokes a lot of fun at the obsession when it comes to iPhones with the letter I. Anyway, the cashier grabs the phone and talks about all the terrible features of the device. Fry ignores the jibber jabber and says the iconic line,
"Shut up and take my money."
If he actually let the guy talk, he would have found out how the iPhone is installed, and it's not pretty. But it's sparkling new technology, so pain is irrelevant to the joy of holding a new phone and vowing to protect it for life. Until the next one comes out anyway. During the episode Obsoletely Fabulous, Bender ends up on a seemingly deserted island. Asterisk, it's not actually deserted, it's filled with obsolete robots. Second asterisk, it's all a simulation in Bender's mind. Anyway, he arrived on the island due to running away from getting a compatibility upgrade. We see Bender set about saving himself like Tom Hanks in Castaway, minus the wit of Wilson. Bender creates a shelter out of a singular boulder. Then, he writes a message of help for passing ships and planes. However, he runs out of rocks, so he can only write health instead of help. Straight away, we see why he ran out of rocks. He created a pointlessly long message. Bender could have simply curved the F into a P or shortened his message significantly, but he gives up and walks away in defeat. If there's one planet that we can all agree on that has an unfortunate name, it's Uranus. Since the planet was provided that title, all the jokes were formed. In Futurama's A Big Piece of Garbage, Farnsworth shows Fry his smelloscope. Essentially, it's a telescope where you can smell the odors of what the scope is pointing at rather than just looking through a lens. Yeah, you can see where we're going there. Fry makes the joke about not wanting to smell Uranus, but everyone's confused. It turns out the planet was renamed in Futurama to escape the teasing. Now, it's called Urectum. No chance of that getting mocked. The joke is also referenced in Turanga Leela on a hologram. Fun fact, The Simpsons get a reference in A Big Piece of Garbage too. Bender eats the shorts off the walking talking Bart doll, then imitates Homer with a lovely burp.
Short.
We're at the first entry, all about a rare miss in the fantastic Futurama franchise, alliteration. In The Problem with Popplers, Leela, Fry, and Bender are starving and stumble across some pits filled with delicious delicacies. The Planet Express crew christen the discovery Popplers and take them home to sell. The whole Earth goes crazy for what looks like popcorn chicken. They sold nearly 200 billion Popplers. While some activists aren't happy, Popplers are still being sold, until one Poppler opens its eyes and calls Leela Mama. Yeah, the crew had found the larvae of the Omicronian species. You know the species. They're the race that tried to steal Fry's lower horn. Anyway, this episode makes some people a little uncomfortable, as living alien kids are being devoured by people all over the world in their billions. It's a problem. The episode When Aliens Attack gave us the big highlight of Zapp Brannigan. The Captain Kirk parody astounds us with how it's possible he can be in charge with his low IQ and dangerous plans. Confidence is key. As he talks about the plan of attack, Brannigan plops 4 game metaphors together in one sentence. Honestly, it's kind of impressive. His trusty ally, Kiff, then lets out an exasperated sigh that sounds like it's been building for years. Immediately afterwards, Brannigan lets out a little Freudian slip by admitting that his plan is so simple, an idiot could have devised it. We also see another Simpsons reference when Bender strangles Fry for a moment. Fry's expression is exactly like Bart's when he experiences the same from Homer. After money-holding Fry, the Futurama series also created another iconic meme. It's often used by people to show their displeasure to news on social media. We're, of course, talking about Farnsworth declaring,
"I don't want to live on this planet anymore."
This moment happens during the episode A Clockwork Origin. The title is a parody of A Clockwork Orange. There's some useful TV and film trivia for you. In the episode, Farnsworth goes back in time to find the missing link of evolution. He wants to prove that evolution isn't a theory, but a fact. However, he gets upstaged by Dr. Banjo. The creationist supporter provides a picture of Homo Farnsworth riding a dinosaur. This picture apparently proves that creationism exists and evolution is wrong. So, Farnsworth utters his famous line in response and creates a piece of internet history. Second miss of the video is now upon us. In the episode Yo Leela Leela, we see the orphanage that Leela visits get a special visitor. An executive from Nickelodeon uses the Snuggle Ray to do some tests on the kids' reactions to certain shows. After some distasteful programs, we see a clip of extreme toddler wrestling. It's about exactly what it sounds like. Two toddlers, pretty much still babies, waddle towards the ring, or in this case a cot. The kids get inside and begin to fight. One of the toddlers channels the ECW of old and proceeds to get a chair to use as a weapon. They mercilessly beat their opponent into unconsciousness. Some parents found the wrestling moment a little disturbing. Can't say we blame them there. In the opening of The Root of All Evil, we see Fry, Bender, and Leela looking at some beer in a parody 7-Eleven shop. Every one of the beer's names is a pun or reference of some sort, many of which made you feel smarter if you knew what the pun or reference was about. First up, we have old Fortran. Fortran is a programming language that first appeared in 1957. Next, we have Klein's beer. This is a reference to the Klein bottle. It's a non-orientable object used in mathematics with one continuous side. Then there's the St. Pauli exclusion principle girl. This is a reference to the Pauli exclusion principle, where two or more famous can't occupy the same quantum state within a quantum system simultaneously. Thanks, Wikipedia. Then there's Sam Adams' head, which is a reference to the Samuel Adams beer that exists in our world, just with a Futurama twist. The episode Bender is a bit of a problem to start with. Bender considers taking part in the Robot Olympics, but changes his mind when he sees the men's feats. So he pretends to be a fembot for the Olympics because he believes he'll win that way. And he does. He wins 5 gold medals. As a random guy that doesn't train is better than female athletes apparently. Yeah, not great. With an oil check by the organizers about to take place, Bender gets Farnsworth to give him a gender reassignment operation to pass as a fembot. From there, there's a few iffy moments that aren't too kind to transgender people. Since Futurama's pilot episode in 1999, each title card at the beginning of the credits has a one-line joke. Sometimes they reference The Simpsons. One of our favorites is for the episode The Cyber House Rules. The title card states, "Please rise for the Futurama theme song." We like to imagine all the people standing with a hand over their hearts as they hum along to the tune for 20 seconds. For Obsoletely Fabulous, the title card states, "You can't prove it won't happen," which is fun, because it could be true. In 1,000 years' time, we could all be hanging out with robots and mutants as well as looking after our own Nibbler. That's the dream. Finally, in Attack of the Killer App, the title card reads, "There will be a test." We like to picture all the people panicking and making notes throughout the episode. The episode The Honking references a number of scary films, one of which is the 1980 moving picture The Shining. The Planet Express crew are in a haunted castle. They see a series of 1s and 0s written on the wall in what looks like human juice. Since it's in binary, they ask Bender what it means, but he tells them it's just gibberish, until Bender sees the same code reversed on the mirror's reflection. He then proceeds to scream and dart out of there as quickly as possible. Yet, we get no explanation into what the new code means. Thanks to science, we now know. The new code stands for 666, which is also known as the number of the beast. This binary moment is a reference to the phrase red drum being used in The Shining, as it too is gibberish until the phrase is reversed. Roswell That Ends Well is not exactly a miss. After all, the episode did win the show a Primetime Emmy in 2002, but there is a grim moment. The episode parodies the sci-fi cult classic Back to the Future. The crew ends up in 1947. Fry tries to keep his grandfather alive throughout, but that ends up going wrong. Yet Fry doesn't disappear from existence, which means maybe his grandfather wasn't his grandfather. Fry is later alone with the grieving Mildred, Fry's late grandmother. She then immediately seduces Fry. Yeah, it's pretty ick. It's much further than Marty went. The next morning, Farnsworth explains that Fry is now his own grandfather. The revelation melts Fry's noggin. It's a massive paradox that brings on so many questions. But Fry keeping it in the family is definitely one of the grossest moments in this series. Farnsworth is a little bit elderly considering he's over 160 years old. In Teenage Mutant Leela's Hurdles, the crew have had enough with his advanced senility derailing their lives, so they take him to a spa that may help him with his being too old problem. The spa has anti-age tar pits for the professor to relax in and get younger, yet before the therapist can explain further, something catches her eye. She tells Farnsworth that it's not necessary or wise to be naked. Farnsworth responds angrily with,
You sound just like my tennis instructor.
While it's a funny line, it also brings up a lot of questions about Farnsworth. Why was he nude at tennis practice? How did his instructor react? Has he done this with other random people? Feel free to answer these questions in the comments below. Our final miss comes in the penultimate episode of Futurama, Stench and Stenchability. One of the stories involves Bender trying to win a local tap dancing contest against Tanya. She's 6 years old with a heart condition. She parodies Tanya Harding by breaking Bender's knees before the final. As a result, Bender hates her. After Tanya wins the competition, her heart gives out, and the doctor can't help Tanya. So Bender proceeds to tap dance on her body. Everyone yells at Bender while he celebrates the child's passing. Regardless of what Tanya had done to Bender, it's a pretty grotesque moment. Thankfully, his rhythmic dancing restarts her heart, and the two later go on to be crime friends. Yet even for Bender's normal, immoral ways, this was particularly cruel. Many viewers contemplated switching the channel during that moment. We have another science joke that tickles the funny bone sweetly in the episode Luck of the Fryish. At the start, we see the crew are watching horse racing. Two of the horses finish neck and neck, so the judges check the electron microscope for the winner. Horse 3 wins in a quantum finish. Farnsworth immediately gets annoyed by this. He states, "No fair. You changed the outcome by measuring it." Farnsworth is referencing the observer effect. Essentially, in quantum mechanics, the observer affects a phenomenon simply by watching it. So without observation, the object could be in a variety of positions. Think Schrödinger's cat experiment, but not measuring would be a dreadful way for a racetrack to operate. Since the judges measured the horses, they know for sure which one won, which eliminates Farnsworth's horse winning. Thank you, by the way, for listening to us butcher some science. And that's a wrap. Let us know in the comments what your best and worst Futurama moment is. Since you're here, like and share the video to help us out. Also, subscribe to stay up to date with new content. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.